Left my glasses home.
Oh.
Be interesting.
We have to have a designated
I
reader.
have it all memorized, so it's no fun. I'm not looking for, I'm looking for the quiet button. I think he was asking for the other day. Oh. What are you two doing? I don't know. I'm getting signals from over there. I got to find out what's going on. Oh.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome everybody to our November 13th, 2023 City Council meeting. And I will ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Long,
Present.
Counselor McLaughlin,
Present.
Counselor Runyon,
Here.
Counselor Randall,
Present.
Counselor Richardson,
Present.
Mayor Mace.
Here. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 is approval of the agenda. I believe we have a supplemental agenda to be added, which is item 10B, police car purchase. So I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment adding action item 10B, police car purchase.
Is there a second?
Second it.
It's been moved by Counselor Long and seconded by Counselor Randall to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5A is presentations and proclamations. Item 5A is actually Local Government Academy graduate recognition. And it's my honor and privilege to give certificates of recognition to the graduates of our local government academy. This is something that I always look forward to every year. Of course, what we had, this is the third year.
Third year. This is a third year. We took a hiatus during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right. So what I'd like to do is read your name and have you come up and get your certificate if you are in attendance. So. Okay. Certificate of recognition presented to and in your name. The certificate is presented in recognition of completion of the 2023 City of the Dalles Local Government Academy. Citizens raising and transparency in 2020 development. Your commitment and dedication to the betterment of our community. The City Council of Please accept the motion. First is, Maria Maldonado. William McKeon.
We still want to know who.
Anita Rodriguez.
I think we should fail these people.
Anybody wants to say a few words, you got up to 3 minutes.
That's
The Rotary, yeah, sending the invitation to the Rotary. Thanks for that outreach and learning more about all that, all of you.
Okay, Maria.
Rotary.
You're welcome.
Come on up. Probably the plans was much better.
It was better.
That was your. Jan Oldenburg.
Maybe you can't get a picture if you don't have them stand side by side. Yeah.
Some more.
Pete Schultz. Gordon Tanner. Paul Howard. Sarah, no. Walk around. Paul Walker.
Yes.
Butcher, Stacy Wright. Of course, we're all hoping that we'll get some good candidates for the numerous boards of commission in the city. I know we've already got one application. I'm looking forward to getting a few more. So thanks very much for participating. Okay, item 5B is the Northwest Accreditation Alliance Award of Compliance for the Dallas Police Department. He is,
Hi, do you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Oh, absolutely. Good evening, Mayor, councilors, and members of the community. I'm Scott Hayes, Director of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. I appreciate the opportunity to address the council and present the Dallas Police Department with its first award of accreditation under the leadership of Tom Worthy. A little background first. Law enforcement is experiencing a challenging society with increased demands for police accountability and transparency. As in the past, our profession must face these challenges and work with our communities to address their concerns. Accreditation is one step towards building community trust and legitimacy of our profession. The the Northwest Accreditation Alliance was formed under the direction of the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police, the Oregon State Sheriff's Association, and the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, and provides accreditation services for 94 law enforcement agencies and communication centers. Accreditation goals are straightforward: to support the continued improvement of law enforcement services, to establish best practice through professional standards, to establish agency accountability and transparency, and to enhance the management of overall operations. For the Dallas Police Department to become accredited, the agency had to adhere to 106 law enforcement standards. Compliance is generally in the form of policy, procedures, Oregon revised statutes, Oregon administrative rules, and city policy. Our standards are established on best practices nationally and through changes in Oregon law. In addition to each of the 106 standards, the agency must show proof of compliance that the agency is following policy and best practice. Then reaccreditation will occur every 3 years. This is a monumental step for any agency to be evaluated by an outside independent organization and have their policies and practices scrutinized. I do know that a number of staff members were involved in the process, but I would like to recognize the efforts of Captain Jamie Carico, Sergeant Eric McNabb, and Sergeant Doug Kramer, who worked diligently in preparing the agency for review. I would also like to recognize Chief Worthy for his contribution to the Northwest Accreditation Alliance as a sitting board member of our organization. His involvement provides our member agencies with guidance to meet their best practice. Chief Worthy, on behalf of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance and its board of directors, which you are one, I would like you to present you with your first award of accreditation. Congratulations.
Chief, would you like to say a few words?
Honor to be here.
Well,
Microphone.
Is this one on? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Scott, for those kind words. And I just want to acknowledge the team and really say thank you guys for following my vision to become accredited. It's a very worthwhile effort. It was a difficult journey. And I want to note that they did it on top of the regular duties, keeping the city safe, extra hours, tracking down proofs of compliance, amending policies, collaborating with our team to show that we pursue excellence in the city of the Dallas Police Department. I'm super proud of you guys. I was thinking about preparing some more formal remarks, but I wanted to speak from the heart. I'm super, super proud of this department. I'm happy to be a part of it. We go forward and we're going to continue to be accredited, and we're going to use it as our guiding light for best practices and our pursuit of professionalism and the very best practices in law enforcement. Thank you. We're happy to be accredited. Thank you, Scott.
thank you. Any questions or comments? I'd just like to say that I think we're very fortunate to have a department like our police department. The professionalism, I think, speaks for itself. And it's nice to know that we also have another department in the city that's very professionally run and improved through the certificate of conformance by the our finance department led by Angie Wilson. It's the Government Finance Officers Association. They also have received their own version of the certificate of compliance. So congratulations to both departments. And I think the city is very well served with all our department directors, but it's nice that at least two that we know of have have the certificate to prove it. And those certificates, by the way, are not easily given out. Those, you have to go through a lot for both of those. So again, congratulations. Okay, audience participation is item 6. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not later appear on the agenda. Up to 3 minutes per person will be allowed. Citizens are encouraged to ask questions with the understanding that the city can either answer the question tonight or refer that question to the appropriate staff member who will get back to you within a reasonable amount of time. If a response by the city is requested, the speaker will be referred to the city manager for further action. The issue may appear on a future meeting agenda for city council consideration. We have one person signed up for audience participation, and that would be Donna Lawrence. You want to come forward and state your name and address, and you don't want to give your address? I know your address. You want me to give your address? No, I'm just, that's okay. You can just, we know you're a citizen of the Dalles.
Donna Lawrence, and I live in the Dalles.
That's enough. Please use the microphone. There you go.
Testing. I'm here to ask for your help. All the councilmen and the city manager and the city attorney. For years now, our town has had people living next to St. Vincent's Warming Center. Not only is it unsightly and unsanitary, it has devalued and damaged property nearby. Neighbors don't feel safe in their own homes and yards. Tourism of the historic buildings nearby has been diverted, and citizens can't use the sidewalk or feel safe using the street, and crime rates have risen. Our city police have been doing all they can, though in many ways their hands are tied. I realize that you've been working hard and on fixing this problem. You've had to comply with the state of Oregon statutes and rulings from federal case law, and seemingly an unwillingness from our DA to become involved in the houseless issue, according to a recent article by Tom Peterson. Our DA, Mr. Ellis, also stated in November 8th Scourge News that he will not prosecute anybody experiencing unsheltered houselessness for using a shopping cart to carry their belongings. I don't understand why stealing shopping carts isn't a crime. I don't understand why these people are still labeled houseless. Our town has provided shelter for those who want it. These people on the street have refused the offer, for the most part. It's my belief they refuse the offer so they can stay under the protective umbrella of the label of homelessness, unrestricted by any ordinance or law. This is all very frustrating, to say the least. I've done research, as I'm sure you have, to see what other towns have done. One thing really stood out. Solutions always came from a strong, united city council. One person like me doesn't have the power or the authority to do anything about this problem. Only you all. You are the line of defense. Please keep trying. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Anybody else like to address the city council for up to 3 minutes about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay. Item 7 is city manager's report. Mr. Klebs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few items this evening. I just wanted to build on some of your comments a moment ago for the good work a lot of our departments are doing, and wanted to extend my compliments to the library director and staff for putting together a very well-attended Dia de los Muertos celebration. I think there was over 200 people who attended that event recently, and so that was a big hit. The South Apron project at the Columbia Gorge Regional Airport has begun, so that's exciting to see that project go forward. That was something we awarded a contract for not too recently ago. Also attended the Mid-Columbia Community Action Council's Housing Summit held in Hood River earlier today. And I've also been continuing our efforts and dialogue with Mid-Columbia Community Action Council and Center for Living as we explore and develop a street outreach program of some kind to bring back to the council for consideration. This is something we had talked about back in July and approaching a braided funding model to try and improve some of the street outreach services that our community has. I'm also excited to announce that David Collins, our IT manager, applied for, and I hired him as our new IT director. So he'll be able to slot right into that position and keep working on the different projects that he has. And we've posted the second position, or the third overall, for the IT department. That's the systems admin position. And so we hope to fill that position soon. And then just a final reminder that we will have our goal setting session this coming Friday. It's an all-day affair up at the Skill Center. So I'm looking forward to your guidance and conversation during that session. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Klebs. Item 8 is city council reports. We'll start with Councilor McLaughlin.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. I will be attending the planning session on Friday, and we also have an airport commission meeting that morning.
Have a busy day.
Always. And then I've been attending multiple meetings addressing homelessness in the past couple of weeks. And that's my report for this week.
Councilor Long.
Yes, so I've been quite sick the last couple of weeks, but I did manage to meet with the city manager last Tuesday. And that's my report.
Councilor Runyon.
Skipped all the way to the end. Oh.
I'll shake things up.
Let's see. My glasses are home. Met with the city manager, city attorney, the mayor, and one city councilor a week or so ago. Participated in a very well done Veterans Day parade. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for all the work they did. And on that day, in addition to participating in the Veterans Day parade, took a large group to the Oregon Veterans Home, which, if any of you have not visited in recent times, it's open to visitors again for everybody. You don't have to have an appointment. You can go up there, you can walk around and visit A, B, and C wings, not D wing, but 3 of the wings are open to visitation. And again, you don't have to have an appointment, and they'd love to see you. Anyway, that's my report.
Thank you. Councilor Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also spent this afternoon at the Columbia Gorge Housing Stabilization Summit. I've had a couple of recent meetings with our city manager and yourself and our city attorney on several various issues. I'd like to say I'm proud of our police department and thank you to our chief and to our officers and staff there for setting a high standard of professionalism. I think that's both important and something we really need to recognize. And I guess the last few weeks I've spent some efforts in support of the recent high school bond, which of course is not a city issue, but it's a community issue and lost recently in a close election. I do hope our community takes a deep breath and takes another look at that. We still need a new high school, perhaps a smaller ask or a slightly different shape, but it doesn't go away just because we didn't quite make it over the hump on that one this time.
Councilor Randall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On October 26th, I attended a Q-Life board meeting where we heard a financial analysis and independent auditor's report. We received an update on community survey measuring sentiment regarding existing internet connections and heard a technical management report. On October 27th, I attended a sister city reception here in the city council chambers for our sister city, Miyoshi, Japan. And I believe we had 17 guests from that city. On November 2nd, I attended a debrief with the city manager and the city attorney. Also attended a certified local government workshop put on by the State Historic Preservation Office, where we heard several informative presentations, including one on Altogether the Dalles walking tour app and Mural Fest, presented by our associate planner, Caitlin Cook. November 7th, I attended a mass care training conference at Columbia Gorge Community College, organized by the Wasco County Emergency Management and North Central Public Health. And on November 9th, I participated in a household hazardous waste work plan subcommittee meeting. And that's my report.
Thank you. As far as my report goes, on the 24th of October, I attended the community outreach team meeting. On the 25th, I made a presentation to the Dalles Rotary Club. I also attended a variety of events associated with the Sister City celebration during the weekend of the 27th. On the 31st, I attended the Economic Development Commission meeting and heard about a variety of projects from our local governments that are seeking funding for the various projects they have on the docket. On November 4th, I attended the celebration for Yard of the Month, which happened to go to my next door neighbor, Carol Brubaker on Summit Ridge. On November 7th, I gave a presentation to the Lions Club and also gave a presentation to the Citizens Academy, or the Local Government Academy, which we addressed earlier this evening. I'm also finally looking for any city council member that would like to join me in a Veterans Day parade, or excuse me, the Starlight Parade. I attended the Veterans. Okay, let me start over. The Veterans Day Parade, I was a judge and I awarded it. The winning float was put together by the United States Navy, which I was very proud to present. As far as the Starlight Parade goes, which is the day after Thanksgiving, Friday, November 24th, I'm looking for council members who would like to join me in the parade. So please let me know as soon as possible if you'd like to do that. And that concludes my report.
Mr. Mayor, if I may make one more comment.
Sure.
Sorry for being remiss on this front, but I just wanted to acknowledge the efforts of Amy L. in organizing and executing the Local Government Academy. That was something that I had worked on and developed when I was here previously as city manager. She really took the reins there and organized, I think, an excellent course. I think the attendees had a tremendous time and learned a lot of good things about what our local government is doing, and just wanted to compliment her on her efforts. So thank you very much.
Job, Amy. Really did a good job. Okay, the consent agenda is item 9. Items of a routine and non-controversial nature are placed on the consent agenda to allow the city council to spend its time and energy on the important items and issues. Any councilor may request an item be pulled from the consent agenda and be considered separately. Items pulled from the consent agenda will be placed on the agenda at the end of the action items section. Tonight, we only have one item on the consent agenda, and that is the approval of the October 23rd City Council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Moved by Counselor Randall and seconded by Counselor Long to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10A is a resolution repealing various historical resolutions for legal sufficiency. Mr. Kara.
Thank you very much, Mayor Mays, members of City Council. Before you tonight is resolution number 23-038. It is essentially a dressed up form of housekeeping. Every so often, from time to time, the city will be performing some unrelated task and will need to refer to the city's master policy book for a determination on how to proceed. And in doing so, city staff has run into an issue where we are overlooking some of these more historical types of resolutions, ranging from 1993, 1997, the year 2000, and I guess the most recent one was about 9 years ago, 2015. And these are resolutions that, frankly, in many ways, shouldn't have ever been in front of this city council, and that's a function of the city's charter. And so, to my staff report, each city in Oregon and across the United States has a form of government categorized by the relative authorities vested in its city council and its mayor and in its city administration. And in this city, the city of the Dalles, we implement a council manager form of government. And that is a exclusive function of our city charter, which is the constitution of our city. In that form of government, council plays the role of policymaker, and the city manager and staff's role is to implement council's policy directives through administration. Here in our city, council clearly has the dominant voice in the city's policymaking. The number one way that the city council exercises its policymaking is through the adoption of ordinances legislatively, through creating and amending our comprehensive plan, and most importantly, the city's budget. Once those policies are adopted, though, directing those processes is administrative. This Section 21 of the city's charter vests the city manager as the chief executive administrative head of the city government with respect to the management of all city affairs placed under their charge by or under the charter, including by council. And specifically, subsection 6 of that Section 21 indicates the city manager is charged with the supervision and control of the city's employees. As council knows, the city manager is responsible for the hiring and the firing of all city employees other than the municipal judge and the city attorney. And so the city manager has been working with staff to review and update various internal and managerial policies and procedures to support our organizational efficiency, and this happens every day. It's an ongoing effort for our implementation of best practices. And a small part of that review and update process involves taking an assessment of, well, we'd like to do something. We should probably make sure that there isn't a policy that already says what we should be doing. And in doing that, staff identified a few outdated policies that have been either, summarily repealed, through an irregular practice like the adoption of something else, or policies that, frankly, nobody knew existed because they're not existing in our master policy book or otherwise. And so my recommendation as the city's chief legal officer is to repeal the following 4 resolutions, which in effect would reflect the appropriate delegation of duties and responsibilities to the city manager as opposed to being set by council. And those resolutions are listed in the agenda packet and are listed in the resolution for your consideration here tonight. Again, this is very much a form of housekeeping, but just wanted to flag it for council, and in the future, sort of informally seek some direction on whether this is something that you all might want to see on consent agenda, or whether you would like to have a full-blown agenda item like this to go over it. Because, as I mentioned a couple different times now, it is certainly an ongoing process. There's quite a bit of history here in the city. A large part of that is being digitized, and we're uncovering new ordinances that, when I say new, I mean from 1920, that we have to make sure are either relevant or we need to get on the process of repealing. And so with that, the 4 resolutions, 2 of them relate to the city's travel policy and reimbursement costs for city staff as they travel. One of them deals with some public contracting rules in a really niche situation. And the final one, the 4th one, the most recent one, is a resolution establishing a policy for the city's offering of local grants. And so the 2 policies that are adopted in the resolutions 93047 and 97038, those have most recently been supplanted by the city's administrative policy executed by the city manager in August. And so those are functionally repealed, at least administratively. And my recommendation is that council repeal those tonight. Resolution number 00-014 was functionally repealed by council on February 14th earlier this year, when council adopted its most recent local contract review board rules. Part of that resolution indicates that all previous regulations are repealed. This is just going to be, just for best practices, just something explicit. Let's just name this one. And finally, resolution number 15-046, that addresses the process through which the city administers local grants. And similar to the resolutions that have been addressed or that address travel policy, this is another managerial process whose process and policy should be a function of the city manager's authority. And so my legal opinion is that the city council should absolutely consider adopting resolution number 23-038, a resolution repealing various historical resolutions for the city's legal sufficiency. And the exact motion language is listed on page 15 of 28 in the agenda packet. More than happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments? Counselor Richardson.
I have a comment. I have to admit, I was strongly inclined to argue with our esteemed city attorney on a couple of points in this resolution, this proposed resolution. And in fact, wrote up fairly copious notes. And then I reread and considered and took some time to think through, and in the final call on this, I guess, I came to find that he was persuasive, and I'd be happy to make that motion when we have all of our other questions answered or comments made.
Okay, anybody else? You want to go ahead?
Mr. Mayor, I'd move to adopt resolution number 23-038, a resolution repealing various historical resolutions for legal sufficiency as presented.
McLaughlin seconds.
It's been moved by Counselor Richardson and seconded by Counselor McLaughlin to approve the resolution 23-038. Is there any more discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to sort of follow up, Mr. Mayor, I would appreciate some consensus from council as to whether they would appreciate seeing, in the event, which I'm almost certain I will find, or somebody will find, something else that sort of fits into this type of thing, a previous resolution that should be repealed for legal sufficiency. Is this the kind of thing council wants to see regularly, or would you rather have it on consent?
Opinions? Consent agenda or regular agenda?
I didn't quite hear what you were asking.
Oh, in the event that the staff discovers an additional resolution adopted by council in the past, from that should be fitting the bill, that would have been included here tonight as something that I might recommend for repeal for legal sufficiency, something that, is clearly administrative, but council adopted a policy on it in the 80s or something like that. As we unearth those, would council like to see them come back as action items like this, or would you prefer seeing it on consent?
I think I'd like to see a note about what it was at the very least.
Well, the consent agenda would have that.
If it's administrative, so be it,
I'm inclined to, it depends on the issue, but consent agenda would be fine unless it rises to a level where we should have input.
Okay.
And you're pretty well assuring us that there will be at least several others in the future that will be coming.
Maybe not several, but I mean, I'm not discounting the fact that the city has been around since, quite some time. And as I mentioned earlier, my office is in the process of digitizing the city's historical records. And so there may come a time that we will, I'm not going to say certainly, but nearly certainly find others that fit this bill. Yes.
Based on the comments from Counselor McLaughlin and Runyon, it would appear that their preference is to leave it on the consent agenda unless the staff feels, we'll leave it up to the staff feels that further consideration in the form of a resolution may be necessary because of the gravity of the particular issue. Am I hearing that?
I agree with that.
Just an additional comment, Mr. Mayor, as the council knows, you can certainly pull something from the consent agenda if you deem prudent.
Right.
I make a comment. I was not against any of this, whatnot, but this is something I've said over the last 5 years and did strategically with the county as we do review things from time to time, and we have a new city manager, you're looking at things, especially items, whether it's planning department, public works, police, what have you, all our departments. If we see things where the state is involved, and then we have put things into that ordinance resolution, what have you, from the city's perspective at the time that was done, could be years ago, that those, if we're more restrictive than what the state requires, that's what I want to have looked at in all departments. And then to evaluate, are those needs to be more restrictive still needed, or could that be reduced to help the economy, to help the departments run more smoothly, whatever. A review of those types of things where the state's involved and we've added things to it over the years. do those issues to add more restrictive covenants still exist? That's what I would like to see, a general cleaning up over time of different things that may be hindering us now as a city that were very necessary then.
You'd be very surprised, Councilor Runyon, maybe not so surprised, but that happens so regularly, actually. In fact, it happened today. I found something just like that. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second. I think we voted already, didn't we?
Yeah, we already voted.
All right, moving on.
Mr. Mayor, just off topic, brief comment. I noticed that we had a couple additional local government academy graduates come in. So maybe at the end of the meeting before we conclude the agenda, we can have them come back up and we can take another group photo together.
Sure.
Thank you.
Would that be the Aguilars?
After our next action item.
Right. What's that? Oh, the Brady's are here too. Okay. I have all four right here. Okay, item 10B is the police car purchase. Chief Worthy.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for hearing me tonight. I come before you to inform you of the purchase of 2 unmarked police patrol cars. I think we just had a discussion about times are changing and money just doesn't go as far as it used to. The city manager's purchasing authority for vehicles or really anything is $100,000. And for these 2 cars, it comes out to $100,220. These are on government fleet pricing through Underwriter Ford here in the Dalles. And so that is the same cost that anybody will get. These are not elaborate or extravagant vehicles, as you can see from the bill of lading attached to the agenda packet. They're fleet cars. So they are they're cars that we can upfit to a patrol car if a disaster requires that of us. And with it taking up to 6, 8, 12 months to receive a car on order now, we think it's prudent to buy a standard car that we could upfit if we needed to. So I just come before you with the information that this was included in the 5-year capital purchase plan and the fleet life cycle plan at the police department, and it's within the budget that was already approved by the city council and the budget committee. So for authority for the city manager to execute this purchase agreement.
Any questions for the chief?
None.
Did you all think of a negotiating price that was $221 less than the?
That did come to mind. And
if you need a third car, I could give you a 2002 Jeep Liberty, you know.
Might have to take you up on that.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
Mayor Mays. I move to authorize the city manager to purchase 2 new Ford Explorer Interceptor police package patrol cars from Underwriter Ford in amount not to exceed $100,220.
I'll second.
It was moved by Council McLaughlin and seconded by Council Richardson to authorize the city manager to purchase 2 new patrol cars. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, I'd like to call up Rita Aguilar and Miguel Aguilar and John and Ann Brady. I'll read the certificate once more because that's so important. The certificate is presented in recognition of completion of the 2023 City of the Dalles Local Government Academy. Citizen engagement and transparency are cornerstones of government. Your commitment and dedication to the betterment of our community are truly commendable. On behalf of the City Council and citizens of the Dalles, accept our gratitude and congratulations. November 13th, 2023. John, here's yours. Yeah, it's yours. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's have the whole cohort come up. One more time.
Jason. I'm short enough, doesn't matter.
Panorama mode.
One for everybody for. Yeah.
Before we adjourn, I'd also like to acknowledge Maria Pena, who's standing up in the back. She provided all the interpretive services for the local government academy. Maria, we really appreciate all your help too. Thank you. Is there any more business to come before the council? With that, meeting is adjourned.